And the last bit is about what type of jobs to apply for. So let's say that you already spent some time to put together your CV. You spent some time to put together your cover letter. You have your network going. You are job ready. You have validated your qualification. You have prepared yourself to start applying for jobs. So what type of jobs you should be applying for? So let's say that you are an international student. The majority of people will probably be applying for a professional job while on an international student visa. So are you in that category? Are you an international student? If you are, say yes in the comment, and all these hints will certainly be very useful for you. If you are already a permanent resident, or even if you're not even in Australia, put in the comments so I know I can give some examples tailored to your situation. But the majority of you guys will be applying for a professional job while on an international visa, which in its majority of international students visa, unless you kind of study a master's or whatever, you have certain conditions. And the condition is that you can work a maximum of 20 hours a week. And obviously the student visa is a temporary visa. So you don't really hold a permanent visa, you hold a temporary visa, and your condition is that you can work up to 20 hours a week. Obviously there are some masters that you can work 40 hours a week, but majority will be 20 hours a week. So this means that when you are applying for a professional job, it is important to remember this, your conditions, and apply for jobs that are temporary and part-time, which are the conditions of your visa. And why do I say that? Because if you're applying for a job which is a permanent full-time position, you are applying for that job, and then let's say that you get very lucky and you get shortlisted for an interview, and the recruiter kind of forgets to ask your visa conditions, and then you rock up to the interview, and then they realize that you are an international student, you can just work 20 hours a week, just temporary, and they're not really willing to give you a sponsor. So in this case, one, you're probably not going to move forward unless you interviewed really well, and if you are the last one in the planet. But the recruiter is probably going to ask themselves, why did this person apply to this position? This person knew that he or she can just work 20 hours a week and is temporary, and applied for a permanent full-time position. What a waste of time, what a waste of money. So that's usually the thinking behind it. So you're not going to be very well regarded, probably. Obviously the recruitment companies probably you have to explain as well, because they're wasting time in recruiting somebody, interviewing somebody that cannot work full-time and is not a permanent resident. There are some companies that they are open to recruit temporarily and part-time, especially now with flexible work arrangements, a lot of people working from home, a lot of people working part-time. The number of part-time positions have increased, and the number of temporary positions have increased as well. So I did a quick search. I put engineer, part-time, and temporary. I think it came back as like 453 jobs in seek.com.au. So there's certainly a lot of work in terms of temporary and part-time. And when you're applying for a job, especially when trying to apply for the first job, especially because an engineer job, it has a lot of demand and a lot of offer of engineers in the market. Perhaps an alternative could be for you to apply for positions that are for non-engineers, but still related to engineering. So you get your foot in the door in the company, and then once you are in the company, perhaps you can then get yourself known to other people, and people will notice that you are an engineer, you are validated, etc., 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 and they can offer you an engineer job. So some of the other positions could be you could apply for a draftsperson, you could apply for as an assistant engineer, you could apply for as an assistant project manager, a project costing officer, a project management officer, an estimator, procurement officer, quality representative, receptionist in an engineering company, or a contract officer. So those are some of the titles that you could be applying for that is related to engineering and can get you a foot in the door. Or even I've seen many cases of people that applied for a laborer, like a construction worker, a plant operator, obviously if you have license to operate plants, or just general labor. And once you get the job as a general labor, you get yourself, obviously you start doing your network inside the company, and then people will notice that you are an engineer, and perhaps you can get a job as an engineer.